Today we have olive wood. This comes to us from my good friend Dan. Dan brought this up from Las Vegas, Nevada 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. How long's it been, Dan? Been a while. Brought me a whole bunch of it. I've got a piece out there that's so big and heavy I can't even move it to cut it up into pieces. I did cut this one off of another large piece, and today we're going to turn it. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as we like to say here at Shady Acres Wood Shop. Howdy, let's take a closer look at it. The piece is about 7 by 7 by about 4 inches thick. Being olive wood, it's dense and heavy as all get out. You can see I've made a few cuts on it on the bandsaw. Well, that's a chainsaw cut there, but bandsaw here and here and here. And I think I'm gonna go set it on the bandsaw table and saw off. Just kind of flatten this part off right here. Just doing that for expedience sake. This is really, really hard wood, and I'm just gonna cut away what I'm going to carve away anyway. So I'm going to set it there and just kind of flatten this off a little bit. Take off some of that sapwood that's on there. Then I think we're going to turn it this way. This will be the top, I think. And that'll be the bottom. And we're just going to make a beautiful bowl. If you know olive wood, you know that is gorgeous wood once we get there, but it's always kind of a pain to get there. But it's doable. Good sharp tools, sharpen often, we'll get it done. Then I'm going to drill a hole for my woodworm screw, we'll get it mounted up on the lathe and get to turning. Well, I changed my mind. This will be the top. It was going to be that way. But that way we'll cut away a lot of the sapwood. Also, this was full of bark, and then I noticed it was loose. I couldn't tell how deep it was, and I didn't want that in the bottom to keep us from going down in there, making the bowl. So this way we'll cut it away. I pulled all the bark out of there, and I see it doesn't go too far, but still it goes an inch in there, and that would have kind of ruined the bottom of the bowl. So that'll be the top of the bowl. And I also knocked the corners off, obviously. And I couldn't cut it round on the bandsaw because you can't curve this through a 1/2 inch blade on the bandsaw. Ooh, this is tough wood. Okay. Whew. Well, here it is. No, you're not on the wrong channel. If this looks familiar to you, that's because you watch my friend Gary, just like I do, over at the Papa 1947. And this is the piece that he turned last week. This is his current piece. Although by the time you watch this, it won't be his current piece. But I commented on it, let him know how much I liked it. And the mailman came this morning, and there it is. He sent it to me. And now I have an official Gary autograph. And I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm not going to do a lot to describe it because Gary already did. But I can tell you to see it in person is amazing. It's so thin, so light, so colorful, so beautiful, so well turned. I just love it. Thank you, Gary. Really appreciate it, buddy. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. I'm just going to start by rounding this up. Then we'll start working on some kind of a shape for it. We're going to be turning at 680 RPM, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask, and face shield on. We've got a couple little flat spots there, but I don't want to keep going and turn away too much. We'll take care of them, but just not right this minute. See if I can pick the speed up any yet. How about 760? Well, that came off and hit me. That's right here. I noticed that before we started, but I think it's going to be okay. I don't think we're going to lose anything big off of there. Well, I gotta go sharpen up already. I have a little burr on my tool rest here. I'm gonna pull it back and use the file on it. I'll be right back. I did flatten off the bottom of this just now, and now I'm marking out for a tenon or a recess, not sure which. Then we'll get back to shaping. That's some hard wood. Well, I don't love the shape I have here. I'm a little bit limited unless I start putting on fancy designs of some sort. You know, it's not that big in diameter and it's quite deep, so it kind of ends up looking like a flower pot, and I'm not after making a flower pot. What I am trying to do is show as much of the heartwood as I can. We've got some sapwood in here. Can't do much about that. I'd say it's about 80% heartwood and 20% sapwood. And I'm just looking for a shape that shows that off. And really, a rounded shape would do better, but I just don't have the room to do that, I don't think. And I don't want to do a closed form, because then you can't see the inside, and the inside should be at least as beautiful as this outside. So I'm struggling. Well, maybe I can round over this top edge at least some. We are missing, you know, this, I know you can't see it, but from here to here, it's a dip this way. It's lower here than it is up here. It's just the natural edge is what it is. The shape of the tree at that particular point. The rest of it's all flat across the top. So I'm not sure how that will blend in with a rounded top, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. What do I know about design? Not much. You see what I mean here? Then it's flat the rest of the way. Well, there is a little dip here too. That'll probably be gone though. I don't know, we'll figure out something. Boy, it does not like that cut, I can tell you. I guess I'll go sharpen up again. Yeah, I like that a lot better. I'm going to put my scraper on there and see if I can't kind of refine that shape a little bit. Yeah, I like that a lot better. So that's probably about it. Tenon or recess? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll go with a tenon, and for that I'm going to use a 1/2" bowl gouge. I'm going to raise my tool rest a little bit so I can use this diamond point tool to straighten up the sides of the tenon. And that's good. Well, I came back over here to finish up, and I think I'm done. It looks pretty good. I don't see any giant tool marks. Still a little bit right on this corner here, but that'll sand right out. I guess we're done. Time for sanding. This is a 120 grit and I'm working up through 400. I'll bring you back and we'll put some kind of finish on there. I just can't decide yet. Gotta see what it's like when we're done. See you in a bit. Well, I did something that I learned from my friend Gary. Yes, the same Gary, the papa. Can you see the shine on there? And there's no finish on it yet. And what I did was, after I sanded through 400, and I don't think I mentioned, by the way, I had the lathe spinning in reverse at 300 RPM when I was sanding. I think I forgot to mention that. Anyway, after I sanded through 400, then I took, and I couldn't remember if Gary used a gray one or a white one, so I used both. 3M pads like this, and I buffed it just as if I was sanding. And it is so incredibly smooth, you just wouldn't believe it. And you can see how it even reflects the light. And we're gonna go with feed and wax. I think that's going to bring out the grain pretty nicely, and then it's going to maintain that very smooth feel. There is more sapwood than I expected there to be. I cut away a lot of it on purpose, and then I thought I would be turning away more of it than I did, and I could have, but I didn't want to make it any smaller than necessary. But that looks pretty nice, huh? This is a really good finish. I'm really happy I found it so many years ago. And about 3 years ago I thought I was running out of it, so I bought another bottle, and it's still sitting in there. It just doesn't take much of it to apply the finish. And you just rub it in like this, and then leave it alone, let it set up for about 20 minutes. Come back, take a fresh, clean cloth, turn your lathe on relatively high, 1000 RPM or something like that, whatever you're comfortable with, whatever the piece can handle. Hold the rag against it to buff it, and you're done. It only takes one coat. I've put on more than one coat and just can't see any difference at all. So there you go. What do you think? Pretty nice, right? Looks good to me. So I will let that set up, and then I'll buff it, and then I'll turn it around, and I'll bring you back, and we'll start hollowing it out. See you in a bit. I've got the piece turned around with the tenon mounted up in the chuck. I've got a beautiful finish on the outside. It's just about glass smooth. I'm really happy with it. It's not too shiny, but it glows nicely. I'm going to try and open this up right out to here, right to where I finish that curve. I might even go farther than that. I need to be able to see inside the bowl to see all this great grain and whatnot. And you can see here this big hole. That's why I chose this as the top instead of the bottom, as I was going to do. I do notice that we do have a crack here that I hadn't noticed before. And it goes all the way across the top. It comes down here about 1 inch. And on the other side, about the same inch. So I don't think it's going to create a problem. We'll have a little crack right here, but it's not going to get big. It's not going to fall apart, I don't think. We're going to be turning at 800 RPM, 5/8 inch bowl gouge, mask and face shield on. Uh-oh. Further than I thought, huh? I did mess up that top edge right there. The top wasn't flat, so it was bouncing around, and that's what caused me to do that. I'll fix it, but not right now. See what that looks like. It's just going to be slow going. Well, I guess I need to undercut this. That crack kind of makes me nervous about getting it too thin though. It does only go an inch or so, but I don't want it coming apart. Let's see, what are we going to do? I'm going to switch to carbide for a minute to undercut this a little. I'm looking at that crack. I'll go a little bit farther, but not much. Whew, that is tough stuff. Yes, it is. I gotta go sharpen up again. We must be getting pretty close. I forgot about that part. Yeah, I got about 3/4 of an inch total. I'll go another 1/2 inch or so. Well, we still got 3/4 of an inch. I thought I took off more than that. Well, more than something, more than nothing. make sure I'm not getting on top of that tenon like I did a while ago on a different bowl. Yeah, now we got a 1/2 inch. I think we're probably there. We are indeed. Whoa. That was kind of nerve-wracking. Pretty good though. Okay, whew. Time for sanding. I'm starting at 120 grit. I have the lathe working up through 400. I have the lathe spinning forward at 249 RPM. Typically I would be sanding in reverse, but I can't get that angle with this undercut, so it's going to be all forward on this one. And I'll get that done, I'll bring you back and we'll put some more feed and wax on there. See you in a bit. Well, that sanded up just as nicely as the outside did. And I used Gary's trick again, buffing it with the 3M pad. And that really does make quite a little bit of difference. Oh, that was quick and easy, wasn't it? Done. That looks pretty good, huh? I said done, and here I am doing it again. It's because it's so easy, I guess. Might as well. Okay, well, I'll let that set a half hour or so, buff it up. I'll bring you back and we'll take the tenon off. See you in a bit. I've mounted a block of wood up in my chuck. I'm going to put a non-slip cloth over that and bring up the bowl and bring up my tailstock. I still have that center hole there for reference, so I can just drive my live center right into that, and that'll help center the bowl on that block of wood. And bring up my tool rest. We'll spin the piece up, see if it's running true. It is. Turn the speed up to about 600 RPM. I'm going to grab a 3/8 inch bowl gouge and begin to commence the removing that tenon. And I always get asked, really just about every time I turn any kind of wood, what's the smell like? But especially when I turn olive, people ask, can you smell olives? Well, I smell the wood. For sure I smell the wood, and it's a very strong smell. You know, this has lemon in it, and you can usually smell that. I can't smell the lemon at all. I smell olive. Well, I smell wood. I don't know what an olive smells like. I don't know. I can't say it smells like olives, but it smells like wood for sure. Let me check for clearance. And we barely have clearance, so I'll keep working at it. I'm pretty sure I have good clearance now. Yep. Now that's pretty small, so I want to adjust my tool rest up a little higher and a little bit closer. Now I'm going to switch to a swept back bowl gouge so that I can get in there closer. I'm going to turn the speed down to about 400 RPM. Now that's really small, so I'm going to turn it down to about 200 RPM, and I'm going to apply the bevel of the gouge against the bottom of the bowl. Pressure towards the headstock, right hand on the gouge, left hand on the switch, and when the little nub stops turning, we'll know we're through. Like that. Now I'll just take this over here to the workbench, sand that up, sign it, get it finished, and I'll be right back. Be sure you stick around to the end of the video so you can see the before and after shots of this piece. If you'd share the video, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, here it is. One olive bowl in the books, and it's kind of pretty. Gotta love that grain. Of course, that's what olive is known for. Just all over the place. It is so, I say that all the time, don't I? It's so smooth, so silky smooth. Silky. It just feels good. It feels like marble. And right now it's kind of cold because the fan's been blowing on it here. Kind of cold, like marble might be. Got a little bit of natural in there. Not much. Got these two cracks. Didn't hurt anything. It's still quite heavy. The walls are about 3/8 of an inch thick, but it is, I just wish you could feel it. I just wish you could. This finish is incredible for that. And it doesn't shine, but it glows, I would say. Kind of a classic shape. I think it turned out pretty good. Kind of difficult to turn. Got a little hairy on the inside there for a while, but we got it done. And I'm glad about it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you, Dan, for bringing this all the way up from Las Vegas, Nevada, for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up, please. I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly. I truly appreciate that. I also appreciate that you took some of your time to spend with me today. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to your comments. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.